Come in. Good afternoon. Please take your seat. Thus, you did your BTech from IIT Guwahati in Civil Engineering.
Yes, sir.
And you passed out in 2017.
Sir.
And after that?
Sir, I've been preparing for the civil services, and in 2019 I was recommended for the assistant commandant in CRPF, sir.
That's a different exam, right?
Yes, sir. It is conducted by the UPSC itself.
Yeah, but that's not civil services exam.
Yes.
That's a different examination.
Yes.
So, okay, assistant commandant. So, have you joined there?
Sir, I'm on extension leave, sir.
So, extraordinary leave. Yeah.
Yes.
So, tell me something. You must have visited Northeast, right?
Yes, sir.
China has its claim on Arunachal, right?
Yes, sir.
And there are news that they are building settlement or establishing settlement in our territory, Arunachal Pradesh. What exactly India is doing in return or retaliation?
I am Sajal and I have mentored almost 200 rankers in last 4-5 years. We know what challenges you face, and that's why Civilsdaily follows a personalized, student-centric and evidence-based approach through our mentorship program. Every student is assigned a dedicated mentor who helps you learn and apply the strategies of our past toppers.
It has several sub-programs, prelims test series, mains test series, and the most helpful to me has been the mentorship program.
मेरा मेंटोर मैं 3-4 दिन उनसे टच में नहीं रहूँगा तो मेरे को 4 बजे मैसेज करेंगे, तुम्हारे जो टारगेट्स थे वो तुम्हारे अचीव हुए नहीं हुए,
क्योंकि बहुत सारे स्ट्रेस आते हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं, ये सब मैं डिस्कस करता था.
So I've been able to comprehensively improve my preparation with this program.
रणदीप सर के साथ रह के मेरी एफिशिएंसी बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ी है.
मुझे ये भरोसा है कि मैं प्रीलिम्स आने वाले में क्रैक करूँगा.
Sir, India is building infrastructure in the Arunachal Pradesh and other northeastern states. For example, the bridges to improve the mobility of our armed forces for the movement of our defense artillery, etc. And secondly, we have made Indian government officials, senior officials have made visits to the Arunachal Pradesh just as a symbolic sign that Arunachal Pradesh is ours, sir.
No, but then see, they are creating establishment in our area.
Yes.
Right? Government must be aware of it. So have we taken any step to stop that or to demolish those constructions?
Sorry, sir, I am not sure about the exact steps, sir.
There was this self-claimed interlocutor from China who once had said that if India is ready to give Tawang to China, he can negotiate with China for Arunachal Pradesh as well as for Ladakh region. Should India consider his proposal? You give Tawang and China would acknowledge both Arunachal and Ladakh region. Should India consider his proposal? He is a self-acclaimed interlocutor.
So, in my opinion, India should not consider this thing.
Why?
Because Taiwan has a strategic position, strategic location in Arunachal Pradesh, as well as it is culturally integrated to the India. The many Buddhist monasteries are there in Taiwan, which are culturally significant for India, sir.
Okay. Now, see, there is another news related to China. That is, China is building a dam on Brahmaputra river.
Yes, sir.
It has got its own repercussions, right?
Yes, sir.
What should India do to negate that attempt?
Sir, we have to diplomatically engage China so that the impact of these building of these dams on Brahmaputra is not very huge on the northeastern states of India. Secondly, to reduce the impact of these dams, India has to build its own dams to reduce the chances of floods in the northeastern states. Thirdly, we should negotiate a water sharing treaty with the China and also cooperate with Bangladesh to put pressure on China to provide the hydrological information, not only the river in the Brahmaputra as well as regarding the whole basin area of the Brahmaputra, so that the impact on our northeastern states is less.
Which has got more impact on the food habits of people, culture or religion, and why?
So although both have impact on the food habit, but I would say culture has more impact on the food habits, because culture is related to geography, not only to the religion, to the language, etc. So this, in my opinion, the culture has more impact. So.
Okay. See, you want to become an IAS officer, right?
Yes.
So, considering the technological development that is happening or may happen in future, or considering the future development chances, what could be the challenges in front of future administrators?
Sir, one is regarding the digitalization, the safety of the data, the cyber security is one that I see in future. Second is the misinformation and fake news on the social media. This may fuel the social tensions and social strains. And so these things, this comes to my mind at the moment, sir.
Okay. There was this news that one of our missiles had was misfired and landed in Pakistan, right? Thankfully, it did not have the warhead. What actually had gone wrong? And which type of missile was that?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware about the exact mistake of this incident, sir.
Which kind of missile was that?
Sir, it was not an armed missile.
Yeah, there are different types of missile, right?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware of this.
Have you heard of drone technologies?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any laws or provisions act governing the use of drones in India?
Sir, the Ministry of Home Affairs has released the rules for the registration and regulation of the drones.
Is the Ministry of Home Affairs or Ministry of Civil Aviation?
Sorry, sir, I think I am confused in this. I read on it, sir.
Okay. Now, considering the use of drones in warfare, should India invest in developing and procuring drones for military use, or should it go ahead with next round of procurement of fighter jets?
Sir, both are important. Drones have their own importance since they are small in size. The tactical operations can be handled. It can also be used for the surveillance and reconnaissance of the areas. But at the wartime, the aircrafts are more important. So we should procure both, sir.
But the way we have seen that it is the drones that is causing the maximum damage.
Yes.
During wartime.
Yes.
I'm talking about the wartime only.
Sir, the aircrafts have more firepower. So through that perspective, aircrafts are important, sir.
My last question to you. When can we expect this COVID pandemic to be over?
Sir, in my view, I think the COVID infection would last long. It might not create a pandemic in the world, but the infection might live long as other infections or other viruses have been. And we would get a vaccine in the future also. So I think it would last very long, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yaksh,
Sir.
your name has a religious significance.
Yes, sir.
What is the meaning of Yaksh?
So Yaksh are the protector deities in Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. They basically guard treasures. We also found Yaksh and Yakshini on the gate of RBI. So basically they are the protector deities, sir.
Okay, that's good. So you are from Amroha.
Sir.
Amroha lies in which part of Uttar Pradesh?
So it's in Western Uttar Pradesh.
Western Uttar Pradesh. Good. So, Yaksh, we see that there are a lot of cultural differences between Western and Eastern Uttar Pradesh. So, how would you describe these differences? What are the prominent differences between the two regions?
So there are many differences in the culture of Western and Eastern Uttar Pradesh. One difference is in the culture. In the Western Uttar Pradesh, Khadi Boli as a dialect of Hindi is more prevalent, while in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, the languages like Awadhi, Braj are more prevalent. Secondly, in terms of festivals, also there are differences. For example, in Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Durga Puja is celebrated on a large scale, but this is not the case in Western Uttar Pradesh. So these things comes to my mind in regard to the culture of both the regions.
Okay. So in UP, there is a scheme which is going on called as One District, One Product.
Yes.
So what is the product that is being focused upon in Amroha?
So it's Dholak.
Dholak.
Amroha is famous for production of dholaks.
Okay. That's good. So you are a civil engineer.
Sir.
And you also have a minor in product design.
Yes.
Fine. So currently we see that many electric scooters, they are catching fire, but that is not the situation with electric cars or e-rickshaws as we see. So what is getting wrong in case of scooters? Why are they catching fire so often?
So although the case is being investigated by the electric scooters company, but there are some possibilities. One is the raising temperature of the batteries of these scooters. This might have caused fire, and some problems in the design of the electrical circuits. Some mishappening may have also contributed towards these fires.
Okay, fine. We see that the prevalence and the usage of 3D printing has been increasing.
Yes.
And in some countries, it is also being used to, print houses, right? So, do you think as a sustainable source of construction, 3D printing can help out in that?
Yes, sir. So 3D printing is important for the sustainable housing. First, it reduces the cost of the housing as more mechanization is happening. Secondly, the time is also reduced. Third, we can use the sustainable concrete or the sustainable material to build the houses. So through that way, it is important for the sustainable housing, sir.
Okay. So if you have to explain to a layman the process of 3D printing a house in brief, how would you explain that?
So 3D printing has two components. One is the software inside a computer, and second is the 3D printer.
Okay.
The 3D printer is like a mechanical arm or a robotic arm, which is controlled by the software inside the computer, inside the hardware. The command, or first we design the house, that is fed into the computer software, and through that the robotic arm is controlled to build the houses. This is built layer by layer. This is additive manufacturing type, sir.
Additive manufacturing. So it is actually the robotic arm or the controlled machine which is performing that function of additive manufacturing.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So Yaksh, there is a lot of talk about metaverse these days. Okay.
Yes.
There is a talk about shifting interactions to metaverse, and it is being hailed as the future technological breakthrough. So, but understanding metaverse is a bit difficult, right? For the common people, like they understand WhatsApp very well, whether they have to send audio, video, whatever, they can do it easily. So, how will you explain metaverse to a common person and its usage?
Sir, metaverse can be defined in the layman as the world which is defined by the digital technologies. For example, virtual world. The physical things are not there, but they have existence in the digital world. So recently there have been cases, there have been the prevalence of housing in the metaverse, where the housing are being constructed, but there are no physical houses. They are only in the digital form, and people are buying those houses. So this is also an example of metaverse, sir.
Why are they buying digital houses?
Sir, because they hold value. just similar
Okay.
to the NFTs, sir.
Okay.
Non-fungible tokens. They are similar to that. They can be exchanged also. So through that, it is like an investment in the
Okay.
digital assets, sir.
Okay. So if you say that it is a sort of an investment, then any investment, it is based on some foundational value. If we talk about gold or if we talk about stocks, in case of stocks, it is the particular company's revenue which is the driving factor. But what is the foundational value of an asset in digital space? How does it derive value, or is it just pure speculation?
Sir, I am not sure about that. I read on it, sir.
Okay, you can read about that. Fine. So you have mentioned writing answers on Quora as one of your hobbies.
Yes.
So what are the questions that you write answers about? The topics based on which you write answers about?
Sir, I majorly write on the topics of rural sociology, rural society, and preparation of the civil services exams, sir, for the UPSC exams.
Rural sociology.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So since you talked about rural issues, you come from Western UP. We see that in Western UP, the incidence of crime against women is quite high, right? So what do you understand of the issue? What is the social reason behind it? Many times we see that such crimes are not condemned in a way that they should be done. Okay, and in many cases the victim herself is blamed as the reason that the crime happened. Why do you think such social mindsets are still prevalent?
Sir, one of the major reasons behind the crime against women is the patriarchal mindset that is prevalent in the society. The women are considered to be an asset of the husbands. That is why the domestic violence against the women is high inside the families. The women are considered to be the burden on the family. That is why the crimes like dowry are prevalent in Uttar Pradesh. Thirdly is the inadequate empowerment of women, low income level of the women, lesser say in the decisions of the family, and the inadequate policing is also contributing towards the crimes against women, sir.
Okay. So is the state government, as you mentioned about inadequate policing, has the state government taken some steps to improve policing, particularly related to women's issues? I think some mission has been started by the UP government. Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir. So an umbrella mission by the name of Mission Shakti has been started for the security of the women. Under it, pink booths are being constructed in the police stations. The pink patrolling by the battalion of the women itself, and easy reporting of the crime by providing a separate room inside the police stations for the women to report the crimes like dowry, sexual harassment, etc. has been started, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Yaksh. So you are planning to join CRPF? When is your EO ending?
Sir, the date of the next training batch has not been given yet, but it will be somewhere around January or February next year, sir.
So let's say, unfortunately, if you are not selected in this attempt, what is your plan?
Sir, I'll join CRPF, sir.
You will join CRPF?
Yes. Sir.
Okay, all right. Why did you give the CRPF examination?
Sir, one was to have a backup option if I am not selected in the civil services. And secondly, I see it as a contribution towards the public service. That is also the motto of the civil servants. So I find that both civil services and the CRPF have the common agenda to serve the people. That is why I appeared in the exam, sir, in the first place.
Okay, all right. Now tell me, why is Finland looking to join NATO?
Sir, the threat by the bigger countries like Russia, in Russia has invaded Ukraine. So this has threatened the security of the smaller countries like Finland and Sweden. That is why they are looking to join some alliance to have a collective security guarantees from the organizations like NATO. So this is for their defense purpose, sir.
Do you think it won't antagonize Russia? Now, I think Finland and Russia are having decent relations. Russia is not having any issue with Finland, but joining NATO will definitely irritate Russia.
Yes, sir. It will definitely irritate Russia, and Russia has also threatened Finland. If they join NATO, then they will cut the export of the crude oil and also
Gas, electricity.
gas and electricity. Sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. You're a civil engineer.
Sir.
So, now did you see the fire incident which took place in Delhi yesterday?
Yes, sir. I read in newspapers, sir.
So, did you go through the entire report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what would have went wrong? And generally, while designing a building, what safety precautions are taken place so that, the large scale fires are tackled?
Sir, specific to this case, the fire started from the first floor where our generator was used, and when the smoke starts coming out, the people were not able to escape from that place, and the fire started reaching from first floor to second floor, then to third floor. So regarding the fire safety, first is that we have to ensure that the emergency doors are provided. The proper regulations has to be put in place. Secondly, the proper plumbing for the sprinklers to control the fire has to be ensured. The proper ventilation inside the building so that the smoke can easily get out of the building and not harm the residents or the inhabitants. And the fourth is the proper monitoring of the buildings and regulations of the buildings. And the construction material that should be used in the buildings should be fire resistant so that the building does not collapse under the incidents of fire. For example, the nominal cover that is used in the columns and beams should be greater so that the reinforcement that is used in them does not melt out and it does not lead to the collapse of the building. So these things we should keep
in case of fire, the building can also collapse?
So the building did not collapse in this case.
No, in this case, but generally a building can also collapse.
So it is a possibility.
How?
Sir, the fire reduces the strength of concrete and the reinforcement that is used in the columns and beams. Once this is reduced, there is possibility of collapse of the building, sir.
Okay. Now, as an administrator, let's say you are posted in Delhi, you are the district magistrate of any district. So, what steps you would have taken to prevent such kind of fires? I think in the last 5-7 years, this is the third big fire.
Yes, sir. Sir, first is the monitoring of all the buildings to check if the regulations are being followed in letter and spirit or not. Secondly is that the building design codes that are there, for example, Indian Building Code, they should be enforced strictly because these have the provisions for the fire incidents and the ventilations of the buildings and HVACs. So these two steps would be my priority in dealing such incidents, sir.
Okay. Now, can you tell me the key takeaways from the Ukraine-Russia crisis for India in terms of our foreign policy and our domestic policy?
Sir, the Russia-Ukraine crisis has impacted India on a large scale. We should take lessons from this crisis. One is that we should reduce our dependence on the foreign countries for crude oil as well as for the defense supplies. Secondly, we should balance our ties with all the nations of the world, for example, Russia and Western countries. We have to follow the strategic autonomy, sir. And thirdly, we should diversify our economy. Our exports and imports have to be diversified from all the countries and not depend on few countries so that the supply chain get disrupted, sir.
Imports or exports?
Sir, imports and exports both have to be diversified, sir.
Okay, all right. Why is the rupee falling vis-a-vis the dollar?
So there are multiple reasons behind this. One is that the US Fed or the US Central Bank has increased the interest rate. So it has impacted or it has increased the FPI outflows from the India. Secondly, the Russian-Ukraine crisis has put more volatility into the financial markets and the economy of the world. So the FPI is also outgoing. Thirdly, the high prices of crude oil in the international market, and India is heavily dependent on the import of crude oil. So the demand of dollar to import the crude has increased, sir. These are the major reasons behind this.
Outflow of FII money and FPI money is also responsible?
Yes, sir. This is also responsible, sir.
Okay, all right. And why are the foreign exchange reserves falling?
Sir, one, the high crude oil prices. We need more dollars to buy them. Second is when the rupee is depreciating, the central bank is trying to reduce the volatility through releasing the dollars from the foreign exchange, sir. So these are the reasons as per my understanding, sir.
Okay. Last question. What has the government done to fight the power shortage that we faced in the last 1 month?
Sir, one, the rakes for transporting the coal from the mines to the thermal power plants have increased. The government has also cancelled few passenger trains for this purpose. Secondly, the central government has advised states to import coal to generate the electricity, because since the coal was has high prices in the international market, and the states were not importing, especially the coastal thermal power plants, sir. And so these are the things that I know about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yaksh.
Sir.
Tell me how many Yaksh Prashn were there?
Sir, there are more than 100 questions, sir, but I am not sure about the exact number.
पढ़ लेना एक बार.
Yes. I will.
Yudhishthir was asked Yaksh Prashn, right?
Yes.
So at least you should know a couple of them. First, you should know how many questions were there,
Yes.
and then couple of them.
Yes.
See, as far as your knowledge is concerned, that's fine. See, I think you have brushed up your knowledge. But as far as the coherency, assimilating all the knowledge at one place, bringing into a coherent manner, there you need to work. When is your interview, by the way?
So 23rd of May.
So everybody is on that last or second last day. Okay. You still have about 8-9 days.
Yes.
So what you should be doing, there this time actually, board is asking such questions like, what would you do if you are made this? If what would you have taken? I mean, how would you have handled COVID? What would you do if you are made a finance minister right now? What would you do if you are made an interlocutor between India and Ukraine and Russia? How would you handle something like India-China conflict in Galwan Valley? These kind of questions are being asked. That's why I asked you a couple of questions related to China in Northeast. See, had the issue been handled or could have been handled by just talk, it would have been resolved by now. But some secondary steps are needed anyway.
Yes.
If you go and talk to China that please don't build dam and provide us with some safety measures, do you think that China is going to listen to India?
No, sir.
If China were interested in listening to India, it would have communicated to India that it is planning to build a dam on Brahmaputra, but it did not. That means that India definitely needs something on its own. What is that something that you should think about? One thing that you have said is fine. Like India should also think about building a dam. That dam should be a kind of a safety valve.
Yes, sir.
Suppose it releases water without communicating to India, that dam should be able to prevent the flood and all.
Yes.
Then there are ecological challenges also. What if it completely stops the water? Anyway, Brahmaputra has started getting dirty water and at times black water, at times red color water, because of this erratic flow of water in Brahmaputra. So those kind of issues that you should focus on. I asked you questions. What could be the challenges on future IAS? This question was asked by the way this year. So you have not talked about. See, you need to understand that we are a country with more than 130 crore people, right?
Yes, sir.
So if technology is improving, and developing at a very high pace, the way it is happening, apart from those challenges that we are facing in terms of this menace of fake news and all, there are some real challenges at the ground level also. Like how exactly would you be able to provide jobs? Like,
Yes.
mechanization is improving.
Yes.
We cannot rely on those labor intensive industries. They'll go to the machines.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Those high productivity machines are coming up. How exactly are you going to address those challenges? Right?
Yes.
Food security. There's so many things are there. Think about it. Think in terms of all those challenges. Read about issues that is at hand with India in terms of economy and pandemic and all. Pandemic would last, but how long? Can there be another pandemic? Can there be another variant? Why it would last? Is it going to just going to go very mild, or would there be any deadlier variant? That we need to
Yes, sir.
explain. Na? Bill Gates has said that we have not seen the worst. Bill Gates has recently said
Yes.
that we have not seen the worst of Delta. There would be a deadlier variant of not Delta, I mean like COVID. So there would be a deadlier variant of COVID. So just saying that it is going to stay here, but in what form? Would it take the path of Spanish flu, that it was very deadly, and then slowly it turned out to be just viral fever that we face nowadays?
Yes, sir.
So what exactly is going to happen? So elaborate on you see, the purpose of interview is to know your thought process, not your answer or suggestion. That you already have, that stage is already passed, right?
Yes.
So when you are saying something, especially when you are giving your answer in questions which are of the nature of your views, where you are supposed to give your views, please try to elaborate.
Yes.
Okay? Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Yaksh, I think you come across as a very positive candidate. Okay. आपने पहले इंटरव्यू दिया या फर्स्ट इंटरव्यू?
Last time also appeared in interview.
कितने मार्क्स हैं?
146.
तो क्या हुआ, कोई कुछ टफ क्वेश्चन या क्या इशू रहा? अब as per your assessment.
Actually, I got into a little argument with the chairperson, Satyavati ma'am. And after that, my confidence went down. And I also answered some questions where I was expected to take a stand, but I gave ambiguous answers. So
क्या थे ऐसे questions, मतलब if you remember?
So, for example, the question was, should Uttar Pradesh implement the two-child policy?
Okay.
I gave the pros, cons. We should implement, we should do also these things. And then there was one question regarding, should we reduce the duty and the taxes on the fuel, petrol and diesel? I said, sir, it can be reduced, but not that much. So the answers were not satisfactory.
See, the point is, as sir also mentioned, that in some questions it is important that your opinion, or we can say an informed opinion, should be known to the board. That would be very helpful, because otherwise on almost all issues the members know that what are the pros, what are the cons, but it is about knowing the informed opinion of a candidate that matters. Okay?
Yes.
So your opinions on that would be important. So because see, like you have Guwahati in your DAF, so some issues which are related to Northeast, they are very important.
Yes.
Like Assam, Meghalaya is there. They have recently, resolved some of their border disputes. Then this Naga peace process is there. What is the current status of that peace process? That is important.
Yes.
Assam, Mizoram also had a border dispute.
Yes.
Those are important issues. And related to Uttar Pradesh, as you mentioned about your answers on Quora. See, if you are mentioning rural sociology, like you mentioned, that's a very specific term. Then you should be prepared for questions also.
Yes.
So have a thorough. If you are planning to say that, then have a thorough understanding of social issues of Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
Because that would keep you in good stead. Because once you mention that term, they are bound to ask some question, maybe on education or health or status of women, religious issues. They can ask any socio-cultural thing.
Yes.
So you should be prepared for that. Okay. And rest, and you have engineering also. So some technology related issues, metaverse, 3D printing,
Yes.
these are important issues because you have product design. So 3D printing or some new construction materials which are efficient, cost effective, you can have a look at that.
Yes.
Okay. All the best.
I think you did well. You have a good personality, and hopefully you will do much better than the last time. The questions and the way you answered, I think this was more or less fine.
Yes.
So continue with that and keep on reading the current affairs. Civil engineering, any issues that come up, keep following that. And that's it. I think overall good personality. And just one thing, I felt that the eye contact with the other members also, you can take a glance while answering. Okay, so that will also make them feel engaged.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Not every aspirant has an IAS uncle or a bhaiya who has prepared for UPSC to guide them. I am Sajal and I have mentored almost 200 rankers in last 4-5 years. UPSC preparation is a long, difficult journey and it is easy to get lost due to lack of guidance. Many deserving candidates like you are unable to crack this exam. We know what challenges you face, and that's why Civilsdaily follows a personalized, student-centric and evidence-based approach through our mentorship program. Every student is assigned a dedicated mentor who helps you learn and apply the strategies of our past toppers. And before I tell you about our offline batches, hear it from our students.
It has several sub-programs like mentorship program, prelims test series, mains test series, the current affairs programs called the Samachar Manthan, and the value addition program for prelims called Smash. And the most helpful to me has been the mentorship program.
मेरा मेंटोर मुझे सुबह 4 बजे, मेरे को अगर मैं 3-4 दिन उनसे टच में नहीं रहूँगा तो मेरे को 4 बजे मैसेज करेंगे, तुम्हारे जो टारगेट्स थे वो तुम्हारे अचीव हुए नहीं हुए,
क्योंकि बहुत सारे स्ट्रेस आते हैं, बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं, ये सब मैं डिस्कस करता था अपने मेंटर से.
Within a month, our students can feel real tangible improvement in their preparation and performance.
So I've been able to comprehensively improve my preparation with this program and I would highly recommend it.
रणदीप सर के साथ रह के मेरी एफिशिएंसी बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ी है.
मुझे ये भरोसा है कि मैं प्रीलिम्स आने वाले में क्रैक करूंगा.
Enrollment for our Super 50 batch is open now. We'll help you achieve your dreams as we helped these rankers.
तो वहीं से मैं सिविल्सडेली को फॉलो कर रहा.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civilsdaily.